Welcome to the Fight Night Daily Podcast, and we are here at the weigh-in, and I'm joined by the one and only Mr. Anthony Yarde. Anthony, how are you, my friend?
I'm fantastic. Happy to be here.
Yeah, listen, mate, they're just introducing the top of the bill here, Artur Beterbiev versus Bivol. Firstly, what did you make of that first fight?
The first fight, I do think Beterbiev won. For this fight to be any different, I thought that Bivol has to be able to do what he done for the first maybe 6 rounds, and that's move, land some good shots, but keep it consistent. I feel like after the 9th round in the first fight, that's what the difference was. You know, the last 3 rounds, the championship rounds, I feel like that's when Beterbiev came on a bit stronger. Before that, it was a very, very, very close fight.
What are you thinking about the return here? Like, you know, there was a lot of controversy on who people thought won that one. I'm with you. I thought Beterbiev won. I thought he turned the screw in the last few rounds. That was the difference. But can Bivol do anything different? Can he win this return?
I think he can. You know, he's going to be hungry. Well,
let's just take a look at the guys coming out on there. Yeah, so go on, you're saying you think he can win this one?
I think he can win this one. But what I see happening is Beterbiev might get a knockout this time because Bivol's going to be a bit more, you know, willing to engage. And I feel like that'll play into Beterbiev's hands.
Yeah, you know, like, I'm with that because Artur Beterbiev's preparation going into that first one, he had knee trouble, he had that jaw trouble. I think we're going to see an improved Beterbiev.
Yes.
And I don't know how Bivol's going to be able to control that space. He said he had to go soul searching after that first loss. You've had that before, you've lost before. What would he have gone through there?
It's a bit different because he lost at a, you know, undisputed stage, you know, where.
But sometimes, you know, that can be the breaking or the making of a fighter, you know.
Exactly, and that's why this fight's so interesting, because if he goes in there and things ain't going his way, what kind of Bivol are we going to see? And that's what's so interesting about it.
You got a lot of interest on this card, man. Not just the top of the bill, but you go right down to. And I can't believe I'm saying this, the bottom of the bill, the first fight on the card, Joshua Buatsi, Callum Smith. Is that why you're here? Is that what's going on?
Do you know what? I'm here just for the actual occasion, but again, this is arguably the best show, you know, that's taken place, maybe ever.
Yeah.
You know, but again, both fights interest me. The Buatsi fight, the Smith fight, and the winner of these two.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of interest for you, mate, and I think that you're in the prime place. Dmitry Bivol's weighed in at 174 pounds, and Artur Beterbiev has weighed in right on the limit of 175. What do you make of that?
It's a pound's difference.
Take a look at the head-to-head here.
And it's intense.
It is intense.
Very, very intense.
And you're more used to this than I was. Mine's a long time ago. What's going through their minds right now?
I just think they're ready. I think they're ready to actually get in the ring again and be the best version of themselves.
It's been a funny week, innit, like this week, because, you know, we had Floyd Schofield pull out, he got sick, and then out of nowhere, Daniel Dubois pulling out of that fight. No one see that, man. We saw him here at the open workout. He looked great. Day after, he's out, Bakole's in. Talk to us a little bit about that. Was you surprised?
It's wild, you know, and the fact they got Bakole as a replacement shows you how great this event is.
Can you believe that they actually got Bakole? Like, he's an
crazy.
IBF mandatory contender. He's in Congo, which ain't close.
Exactly.
And I've got to tell you, right, he's still travelling now, and he don't land until about 1-2 o'clock in the morning. The guy's fighting at 12 tomorrow night. I mean, how rare is that, man? I don't think I've ever heard that before.
I've never heard that in my life. And I know for a fact Bakole was in Congo eating pounded jam with stew, you know, efferuro. He was eating all this food, probably drinking a Star, little Guinness.
Yeah.
But again, it shows you the kind of animal he is and shows you how hungry he is.
Is it a winnable fight for him?
100%.
Like, on that note, I'm going to have to bring in Tunde, because I see Tunde here, your trainer Tunde, because I know you love a little bit of this, mate. Come in the middle there, mate.
No one loves it more than Tunde.
No, exactly, man. Look, come on. Firstly, he's over in Congo, he gets the phone call, and he accepts the challenge, the most avoided man in the heavyweight division. Is that a good thing he's done there, or is it a bad thing, like giving up his, well, he will be giving up his IBF mandatory?
Well, that's the thing. You can look at it from a business standpoint, which the managers are always looking at. But from a fighting standpoint, he's a fighter just like this young man here. And you call him, the price is right, and they're there. So I think for Bakole, it's probably a decision which he personally didn't have to think long about. But I think in terms of his management, they probably had to think, he said, you know what, let's roll the dice. You've been avoided for so long. let's go for it.
Is it a winnable fight for him, even in the conditioning it'll come? Let's just say he's 60% of what he should be. Let's say he's been ticking over, or even 50%. Is that still a winnable fight against Parker with the momentum that he's got?
I say from this point, I live by the fighter's code. The fighter's code is you can fight or you can't fight. The only thing is with professional boxing is that you prepare yourself for a long distance, but you can still fight, whether it's a short distance or a long distance. My personal opinion is for 6 rounds, Martin-Bakole is going to be the most dangerous man in the heavyweight division. After 6 rounds, anything can happen.
I said exactly that thing, because when you saw him when he boxed Gerald Anderson, the way he threw those shots he throws shots from unusual angles, like short little shots. For anybody that don't know, and you can vouch for this, right, and yourself as an ex-fighter, the shots you don't see hurt, man. They don't have to be them big ones, and you catch, that's fine. But them little pop, that hurts, and he's a master at that.
How many fighters, heavyweights, in today's era do you see throw 9 lead right hands and uppercuts? 9 lead right hands, Spence.
Yeah.
This guy's a phenomenal fighter, and it's the reason why he's been avoided so heavily by the heavyweight division for so long. And I just feel that tomorrow night, could be his night.
Tunde, let me just borrow that, because I've got to talk to you about this light heavyweight. Like we talked about, the opportunity for Anthony coming over here, and it's great to see him over here. You got you, Lyndon Arthur next, April 26th. The trilogy. Hold on a minute. Like, I didn't expect that. That come from nowhere, mate. I've got to say that. I'm thinking, right, where's he going to be going? I think I might see you with one of these guys. Talk to us about Lyndon Arthur.
Do you know what? Again, hats off to Lyndon Arthur. He was the only one ready and willing to fight me, if I'm being honest. We've got history. In my opinion, it's an exciting fight, an exciting build-up. And, I'm not looking forward, but I've got a job to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, it's going to be a buzz there, mate. Like boxing, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the whole build-up with the Ben and the Eubank rivalry, all of that going on with you. You look at the stacked card that's there as well. But more importantly, Ant, it's about not dropping the ball, taking your eye off the game, because at this stage of your career, I mean, there's some huge fights out there for you, man. Like, you come out with a lot of credit after that Beterbiev performance. There was times there when the big man was asking questions with himself. I was looking at him, right? He was walking back to the corner, and I'm going, yeah, he's thinking, he knows he's in a fight. And you come out with credit there, you go, would you like that one again?
100%.
What would you do differently?
I actually want that fight again. Yeah. And it's like I'm itching for that fight again, because I was ahead on the scorecard, and it's like a slight mistake in boxing can cost you the fight. But for me, preparation will be better. He done the interview and he said, they mentioned all the fighters he's fought. And when he mentioned my name, he says he prepared very well for that fight. But if I fight him again, with the experience, I'll prepare even better.
All right, before I let you go, just give us a prediction. Who wins the rematch on Saturday night, tomorrow night?
Beterbiev.
How does he win? Better than before?
In my opinion, he could win by knockout this time. The reason I say that, if he goes to the body more, he could get him out of there. Bivol has been hurt a couple of times to his body. And Beterbiev is known as a very good body puncher.
It's time to speak to the boss, the big man, because I see him thinking there. He's thinking, okay, go on, Tunde, give us your opinion and give us your verdict.
Well, you know what? I don't really disagree with Ant much times, only when we're in the gym training. But I tend to agree with him on this. But looking at Bivol on the scales there, he looks more muscular. And that literally on the spot has put a doubt in my mind. Beterbiev as well, he looks more muscular, but I feel that Bivol probably felt Beterbiev's power and may take more chances this fight, but obviously that will lead him or open him up for more. So I'm not gonna change my prediction. I'm gonna go with Beterbiev stoppage around about between 8 and 10.
Wow, that's a big shout, man. You heard it there. Beterbiev stoppage. First man I've heard predict that, actually. Listen, guys, thanks so much for your time, man. Really appreciate it. Andy, I'm looking forward to April 26th. Come on, do you want to give it the Lions in the Camp?
Lions in the Camp!
There you go. Yeah, great seeing Tunde and Anthony Yarde there, and what an interesting event that could be happening here with the winner of one of these on here. But first, he's got business to deal with April the 26th against Lyndon Arthur in that trilogy. Now, I've lost Adam Smith. So, oh, he's back. He's back. Oh, thanks for coming back, mate.
I'll let Anthony Yarde have a little bit of airtime.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
good.
He was brilliant, mate. He was brilliant. Well, listen, while he was on, obviously you was off doing other stuff down there.
I was.
Firstly, who did you see down there? Give us a little bit of what's going on.
Well, I was down sort of watching the Beterbiev team, very close to Artur. He looks in phenomenal condition. And what a support base he's got here with him. Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev, face to face. They were eyeball to eyeball. It's such a wonderful clash, isn't it? And there's a real fire in the air with the two of them. I think it's going to be more exciting this time than the first time.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think that Artur Beterbiev's come in better condition than he was last time, and I think we witnessed that there when he got on the scales. And I think Dmitry Bivol equally is going to come in better. I think that loss may have been the moulding of him, and I think he's going to come back better and stronger. I think we get the same sort of contest, and I think, Adam, the same sort of result, but I just think there's a little sprinkle of spice going on this one, and I think it's going to be better, and I can't believe I'm saying this, than the last fight, because it was one of the best fights I'd seen in recent times.
So Artur Beterbiev was taken away by all the top-ranked crew. There's loads of them, and then I went round the other side to see Dmitry Bivol, and I went up the stairs onto the stage, and Roberto Duran was coming down, so I helped Hands of Stone down the steps. I mean, I'm such a fanboy. Tommy Hearns was my hero, but Roberto Duran, what a fighter.
Mate, firstly, I met Roberto out there as well, and I walked past him. He's about my stamp, actually. He's quite a small guy, but it was just Roberto shook his hand. I've got to tell you, mate, I'm like, let go, mate.
Still
the strength for the man
Hands
is
of Stone.
quite incredible, yeah. So it was great seeing him. Terence Crawford's here as well. All the stars turning out here now.
Lennox Lewis, I saw down there. Bernard Hopkins. Obviously, Oscar De La Hoya. It's a sprinkling, as you said, of stardust as well.
It is. I mean, yesterday we saw the people turning up, turning in. Today it is absolutely packed in. A lot of travelling fans as well, Adam, actually. Seen a lot of English out here. There's a lot of intrigue on this card.
Supporting Shiraz, supporting Buatsi, Callum Smith.
And I think
Hansa
also,
Shiraz, I think, has got a big following.
He has, and I just think that they appreciate the card that we've got there. And I think that's, just shows how this is growing out here in Saudi Arabia. It was interesting talking to Joe and, seeing, what's going on in the gym, in the Mike Tyson boxing gym, and how, the area, the region is growing with boxing, and the kids in there now are getting packed. And there's a real appetite out here in Saudi Arabia for boxing at the moment as well, right?
It's a fantastic appetite, and great to see Joe Gallagher and Mo.
Okay, hold on, no. I've spotted some. Come on.
Johnny Nelson's down
there.
Come
on.
He looks like he's about to go and open the batting for England in all white. We've got to get him up here.
Yeah,
here he is. Here he is. He's coming out at Lords.
We only want to see your cricket suit. That's
Look
all.
at this. A fantastic outfit.
It's tennis.
Come on, stand here. Tennis, this is cricket, Johnny. Come on. Come on. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, boys. Nice to see you. That was good. Nice and done and dusted. It was listen, look at these trio. Look at us. Look at us.
It's like the boy band's back together, and it's a bit weird.
The band got back together.
You know what? The event's over now. It's now time for action, and I think Joseph Parker. That's the most intriguing one, of course. Can you imagine? Can you just imagine if martinbakole flew in middle of the night, turned everybody over like Robin Hood, in and out? Can you imagine if he did it?
Well, do you know what the weird thing is? You can't rule it out. That is the thing, martinbakole, because forget, what sort of shape is he in shape, is he not in shape? If he is or he isn't, Johnny, you know yourself as a fighter, he's dangerous for 6 rounds, whatever it is.
And you think, you know what? You go on YouTube. You look where the news was broken to Joseph Parker. He said, "Well, martinbakole," and the next thing he said was, "He's a dangerous guy. Nobody wants him." So no matter what Frank says, no matter what Spencer Brown says, no matter what anybody said, can you imagine being a fly in the back room when they said it's martinbakole? They'd have said, no. I saw Spencer Brown on the stage when the news broke. His phone rang. He looked at his phone, and when he's looking at his phone, he sat down, and it was Turkey, because you see a fear on his face. He got up, went and answered the phone in the corner. He's on the phone. His head's rocking left to right. I'm watching him. He puts the phone down, and then the coach came in. Oh my God! The coach came in. He's arguing with the coach, and he's like, hands are in the air. Went up to Frank, whispered something to Frank, and you can see the shock on her face. They didn't want that fight.
Yeah.
They didn't want that fight, but they've got to play it out.
Johnny, you did everything in your incredible career, the ups, the downs, the travelling, all of that. What is Martin Bakole thinking right now? In the air, he's not in fight shape, but he's got his gloves, he's got his bag. Billy Nelson will join him here. They'll land and they'll fight. What is going through his mind?
Adam, I'll tell you what he thinks. He thinks, I've got Jose Parker's number. I've done him time after time after time in sparring. He fancies the fight. He thinks he's 60% of himself. He's one of those fighters that actually lives in the gym just sparring all the time. He thinks, I can come here, do a daylight robbery, beat a guy that I beat up on a regular occasion. I'm 60% of myself, and I'm going to leave. He's not come here to make the numbers up. He's come here to shock the world in such a big fight, leapfrog everybody, and be in a position to fight Danny Dubois.
Well, come on and give us the prediction. Does he do it? Does he pull off the shot? Does he do the Mission Impossible?
Listen, there's head, there's heart, there's imagination. Imagination says, I hope he does do it, just to shock the world. Common sense tells you Joseph Parker's been preparing for this moment. Joseph Parker, his style should get him through this. He should win. But do not write off the guy that everybody avoids, nobody wants to talk about. And remember, he's talked about beating up everybody in boxing and in sparring, from Anthony Joshua to Alexander Usyk, and not one of them has said he's lying. He's the guy that everybody avoids.
Well, go on then, mate. You've got to go and open the batting now, so away you go.
Off you go.
Yeah.
That's it, nice and slow. That's it. Where's the bat?
Brilliant.
Oh, let's bring in him. Here we go. We'll swap out Johnny in for...
Do they do subs with cricket?
We're subbing you in, yeah, 12th man.
Is that
12th man, Dave Coldwell. Great to see you. You just love fight cards like this.
Yeah, I love Fight Week. I love everything about big shows and fight nights. Incredible. I just feel privileged to be involved in things like this.
Well, look, we saw what event they put on, last October, and it was billed as the best fight in boxing today, in this modern era of boxing, and they delivered.
Yeah.
It exceeded what I thought it was going to be. If you're a boxing man and you appreciate the art of boxing, and we got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Do we get the same again, Dave?
I'll be honest with you. I think we get better. Both fighters and both camps have got such tremendous boxing IQ, knowledge. They're going to go back, look at the fights. I think Beterbiev, for the first 5 rounds, didn't go to the body enough in the first fight. And I was surprised. I was really surprised. I was like, why is he not going to the body? And then he started going to the body, and then we saw in the last couple of rounds how he sucked Bivol into a dogfight. He needs Bivol to be stood in front of him for a dogfight. Now, Bivol has now tasted Beterbiev's mythical power, the monster, the strength, the punch power, the relentlessness.
Which is huge.
But he's now tasted it. It's not an unknown anymore. He understands it. I actually think that Bivol's going to go in there, and we've heard him speak about saying he needs to do more. He's accepted a loss, but he needs to do more. I think he's going to try to do more, look to do more. But does that play into Beterbiev's hands? Because the more that he does, the more his feet are in front of him and he's in range for Beterbiev. If Beterbiev this time is targeting the chest and the body a lot more, that zaps him a little bit more. If Bivol has to stand in front of him more earlier, does he have the endurance to last longer? Because he looked very uncomfortable in the closing stages of the first fight. So where I thought Bivol would win the first fight, and on the night I thought Bivol nicked it, but it could have gone either way. This time I'm kind of leaning towards Beterbiev, because also I think maybe what was a factor was the rush job with an injury.
Yeah.
To be able, I watched a bit of Beterbiev's training for this fight, and his feet look sharper. His feet look good. So I genuinely don't know which way it's going to go. But
Interestingly, I interviewed Dmitry Bivol earlier in the week on Monday, and he said he had that in his mind that it was going to be this, monstrous strength and this punch power, and he said he was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't what he thought it was.
Yeah.
And he said, I had all that going on in my head, so I've had to go and rediscover myself, reinvent myself, and I think that's the fascination about this fight. Who can make those slight adjustments to win this contest? Because that is the difference between winning and losing.
this one,
He's so classy. I agree with Dave. I thought Dmitry Bivol nicked the first fight, but I want to just go back because you break it down so brilliantly. With your trainer's hat on, get inside their trainers' heads and what they've got to do. Not just the fighters, but you talk about the camps and the homework they've done and the IQ there. What are the trainers thinking? What are they going to set out to do?
Well, in terms of Beterbiev, it's like what I said. For me, I was watching it as I kind of watch fights as a coach when I'm watching. I can't really enjoy the fights normally just without analysing it at the same time. And I was baffled that he didn't go to the body. I really did. I mean, and if I was in Beterbiev's corner, I'd be saying for the first few rounds while he shot, forget about his head. Like, flick the jab at his head, but be stepping, going to the chest, going to the body, hitting on the shoulders, hitting on the arms, just getting more stationary. And then when you touch him with the first shot, then you know where he is. You can go again and again. With Bivol, he's got a rhythm, and he needs to fight and just keeping that rhythm, pop the jab, a little bit more angles rather than backing up. And like what I was saying, he needs to work more. A lot of times in the exchanges early doors in that fight, when they both exchanged at the same time, Bivol did really well. It came off on top in some of the exchanges. Now you can't, just because of that, you can't think I'm going to stand in front of him, because that's where Beterbiev will grind you down. He's got to fire his shots, nullify it, get off to the sides a little bit, and stop Beterbiev from being able to rumble forward, you know.
Keep your trainer's head on it for a minute, mate, because I'm going to jump onto another fight, and that is the Martin-Bakole fight. And, taking it at this short notice, keep your trainer's head on for a minute. Would you have taken the fight in the position that he was in?
Well, this is why I'm baffled by it, and this is why I feel as though they must know something that we don't, because he's got a final eliminator for a world title against somebody who he's a favourite to beat, and he's getting paid really well for it. So he's guaranteed a world title shot. He's coming in at 2 days' notice. He's arriving on the morning of the AM of the fight.
He's arriving this AM.
That's what I mean. He's going to.
The fight's tomorrow night at 12.
Yeah.
He's arriving this AM.
Yeah.
Lands fights, as Johnny says, it'll rob and it'll be in and out.
So
Robin Hood.
Everything's stacked against him. Why would you do that? Unless you know that you've got it. I think they believe that he's got 8 rounds in him. I don't think they believe that we're all saying he's got 4 rounds. I think they believe that he's got 8 rounds. I think he's the throwback fighter who's condition fit from sparring, from fights, sparring, rather than being athletic, doing runs and doing S&C and stuff. And I think they think that he's got 8 rounds in the bank, and they believe that in that 8 rounds they can zap Parker enough so when it comes to the last third of the fight, he's right in front of him, and it's just a case of nuts and guts, and they believe it'll come out.
And he's sort of got nothing to lose, hasn't he, Martin-Bakole? Because Turkey said, come, he's come, and then if he doesn't win, he'll get another shot.
And that's got to be the guarantee, because if I'm looking after Bakole, I'm saying, yeah, but if we do this, then we can't be at the bottom of the queue. And I think he'll be brought straight back.
Brilliant, fascinating, Dave.
Who wins, though?
Parker should win.
Hold on, mate. No fences. There's no fences there.
I was a bit surprised about Parker's weight, because I don't, whether it's against Dubois or against Bakole, his agility and his movement is key.
Is he skimming around this question, Adam, or what? What's happening here?
Well, no, Parker.
I think he's making a good point here, that Parker's a lot bigger.
He's a massive
but
point.
if he's bigger and heavier, it's easier for Bakole to track him down and so I think it makes it easier for Bakole in Bakole's situation that Parker's heavier. He's 12 pounds heavier than what he has been before, and that weight, he lost.
I think it's fair to say, though, whatever way you look at this, if an opponent coming in at last minute with less than 48 hours to go of a fight of this magnitude, he couldn't get tougher than Martin-Bakole, that's for sure. This is not a foregone conclusion.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Can't wait.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Dave, thank you, mate. Cheers. Brilliant, mate. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Dave.
Well, big thank you to Dave Coldwell. What do you reckon of that, by the way?
I think, look, I love what Dave says. I think his analysis, the way he reads fights, is fantastic. I often agree, actually, with his scorecards. I did think Bivol won the last fight, and I do think Beterbiev might win this one. As far as Parker and Bakole, yeah, it's such a difficult fight to predict, Spencer, but I think you've got to go with Joe Parker because he's fit, he's ready, he's in shape, he's hungry, and you just don't know what we're going to get from Martin-Bakole, but it'll be dangerous Bakole every second he's in there.
Well, thanks, Adam. Well, that's it from the Fight Night Daily podcast. Myself, Adam Smith, the brilliant guests, Guys, don't forget to tune in tomorrow night on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. We're live from 5 p.m. You can also catch us live on the radio from 5 p.m. as well.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.